To go out on the streets, man, and fight for our rights. That's what we have to do. We can't stay in our homes.
Freedom.
Yeah, we have to fight for freedom, man. This is crazy. This is like completely unacceptable.
And what was so unacceptable? Well, it was the closing down of a popular TV station by the Venezuelan dictator, Hugo Chavez. And now for three or four nights in a row, or days and nights in a row, he's had the streets full of protesters. He's threatened them. He's now threatened the owners of the only other remaining, I guess, independent TV channel, a very small one there. And so he is still more or less riding high, I suppose. But he would not be, if he were to fall, this kind of thing has a long history of being the first stage in it. Student protests in the streets often go farther. How much of a chance? Panel, what do you think?
Well, you know, there was a coup that was staged against him. It only lasted 2 days before back in 2002. You know, there is very strong opposition to him. I mean, he is a socialist, communist. He wants to be Fidel Castro, dominate the whole region, and a sizable portion of the population in Venezuela believes in free markets and freedom and all of that,
and TV,
and TV, exactly. And they like their TV.
Well, you see what you substitute what's on this TV station now that a documentary on explorers in Antarctica.
Right.
Well, I bet that was exciting. Then an exercise tape.
I mean, he does
Chavez propaganda.
Right. He does have the guns. He has the rubber bullets. He has the fire hoses. And unless these people are willing to do, you know, what was done in the Ukraine, for example, and just risk death, I think he's going to win.
He's acting like a classic dictator, which, newsflash, he is, which is news that might be translated to some of the politicians in the Democratic Party, like these Massachusetts congressmen like Delahunt, who praised him as basically a misunderstood humanitarian because he was giving cheap oil to the Northeast. I think those people should be saying something right now.
Nancy Pelosi was out with a statement today critical of him. I don't know what she said about him in the past.
It wasn't exactly vehement, though. I read her statement. Look, he's a thug, and he acts like a thug, and he's stupid besides. I mean, who in the world would take as the Cuban model for your economy when Fidel Castro is reduced it practically to subsistence level, where they're not even self-sufficient in sugar, their biggest crop? I mean, that's a pathetic economy. That's his model. That's what he wants. Now, look, he's only got one thing going for him: a lot of oil in Venezuela. And if we have, and I hope we do, have a price drop of some significance, then he's really going to be in trouble.
Really? Why? Because it'll weaken his economy, you mean?
People off. He pays off other countries. He gives money to the Sandinistas. He gives money to Cuba. He gives money to other leaders around Latin America, and therefore they're sympathetic to him. You know what President Bush needs to do is what he did with the president of Brazil, and that's really court him and others. Oh, the president of Brazil was a lefty who was elected. What's it?
So he needs to court.
No. Court the others who are not falling in behind Chavez. One of the problems is Democrats here are against this treaty, a trade treaty with Colombia, where President Uribe is one of the a great Democrat and ally of the U.S.
It's worth noting that the voices that usually the Democrats listen to on issues like this, like the EU and Human Rights Watch, are denouncing what Chavez is doing. So if you're still upholding Chavez, like Daily Cost, for example, that left-wing, well, it's the most popular, I guess.
Is it?
Left-wing website, yeah. I mean, it's a very influential left-wing website.
But is it sticking up for Chavez?
Oh, yeah. It's saying that RCTV was cheering on the coup.
That's the popular station.
Right. They're cheering on the coup in 2002, and by implication deserves, therefore, to be closed down by this dictator.
The other thing he's got going for him, when you mentioned he's got oil going for him, he's got a broad anti-American sentiment in the region going for him. And the question here is, has he stepped so far enough that he's
people are not trying to get here.
He didn't have the oil. He'd go nowhere. That's for sure.
Has he overplayed his hand, though?
He probably has, but he can get away with it as long as he got all that oil money.
Well, and he rigs elections. I mean, practically every election that he's won has been rigged.
Yeah. That's it for the panel, but stay tuned for the latest on the case of the man accused